Someone wrote in and said they're curious about the current state in, this person mentioned Japan and the US, where he saw a huge gap in the mentality of women towards men, making most women on the same level as men in terms of looks, money, and lifestyle think they're better and settling down if they get together with a man of equal status. And he wanted us to comment about it and see if we had any solutions. This is Reid Mahalka from ReidAboutSex.com.
Cathy Vartuli, ThisIsMeDojo.com, and welcome to World Affairs, where I guess there's a joke in there about affairs, like having a relationship.
Yeah, I thought you meant
around
that.
the world. No, World Affairs, like let's talk about cultural issues, about cultures we're not even acculturated for. Yeah, as a white, cisgendered, extroverted, jackassery American, let me talk about Japan and how things are there.
So, actually, I have had this conversation with a number of friends, and I do have
about Japan specifically.
About the difference.
And you've been to Asia, so you've been to China.
I visited Japan. I've lived in mainland China, but I can't claim to have a complete understanding of anything of there. Amazing culture, but I think what I've noticed in the U.S., where I've spent more time studying because I live there.
You also lived in Texas, which is kind of like its own thing.
It's a nation unto
Don't
itself.
mess.
What are you talking about? So I had a really good friend who was very much into status, and we used to have arguments about this all the time. And he said that there was a ladder, a status ladder, and that looks and money and intelligence and education and lifestyle, like he would rate people that he was dating according to the ladder. And he would not date someone that was below him on the ladder. And he did actually postulate that women always wanted to date someone higher than them on the ladder to raise up their status. And I think there's a certain acculturation to that. Like, for a long time, women didn't have careers of their own, and it was important, they were Dr. and Mrs. or whatever. But I don't know that he was particularly successful in relationships for a long time, especially when he was leaning on the status ladder. I think people are much more about the connection is much more important. You can have someone who has a doctorate or a lot of money and lifestyle, but that doesn't make you happy with them. It doesn't mean that they're going to enhance your life.
And is this the question, though?
He feels that why do women want to have someone that are higher on the ladder, if we're using my friend's words, than them, and they think they're settling down if they find someone of equal stature. Okay. So, for me, it's about not looking at those things so much and looking more at, is this person going to make my life better? Yeah. Does this person help me grow? Do they challenge me to do things I wouldn't do otherwise? Do they help me look at things with integrity?
Yeah. All right. Do I jump in? All right. So here are my thoughts. If we're gonna say that most people in most cultures, most air quotes, are raised to be trying to date up, that status is a thing that a lot of people are raised with in culture. If we agree, maybe we don't, but let's say we agree that is true for most cultures. You want to be moving up the ladder rather than laterally or down. So to answer this question, like how do you deal with that phenomenon? One is to acknowledge that it's there. You can make it right or wrong if you want, but from a pragmatist perspective, it's, is a hammer named the right name for a hammer? I don't care. Like, let's use the hammer for good, never for evil, and go build something worthwhile. Hopefully something that makes us happy. So immediately what you're looking for are women, or whomever you're into dating and having relationships with, who get that that's a thing that happens in a lot of cultures. So there's already an awareness, like a meta-awareness of, culture's having its way with us around status. We were taught this. Until you can have a conversation with somebody about that concept, culture's probably just going to have their way with them. Even if what they're doing is choosing the opposite. I'm not going to let status be in the way of my love relationships, which is okay, but that's a reactionary situation to just choose the opposite, to be a contrarian. Ultimately, what you want to do is somebody can have the conversation, deconstruct it, and then figure out what makes you happy. two people for whom status is really important
might be great at
who
that.
support each other in going up the ladder and leapfrogging with each other, or just pushing your partner up further than you are, right? And you just keep climbing up behind them.
You go first, it's scary.
Or it's easier for you to have the status and for me to just be behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know couples that are like that, they're fine.
Yeah.
And either it just worked out that they were both in the right position, who got to be up, who got to be on top. So sometimes it just lucks out and it's not a conscious decision. But for the people for whom it's conscious and you can deconstruct it, you can still reassemble it and take advantage of the privilege, if you have it. Or in deconstructing it, be like, oh, you know what, status really isn't that important to me. How important is it to you? Mm-hmm. And then you can see if you're a good fit for a relationship. Yeah. That's my bit on that.
Yeah, I would encourage you to determine what is actually important for your happiness and fulfillment in life, and look for someone who has that, as opposed to, it's easy to look at other people. Someone who's really charismatic and confident can appear higher on the ladder than, even though they may not have as much actual status as someone who's less confident. But knowing what will make you feel good. And it's the moments that, in the middle of the night when you've had a bad day, or if you're sick and someone shows up for you, or you really want to figure something out, that matters. That's really important. And that can make a huge difference in how your life flows. A lot more difference than what kind of car they drive.
And that's a conversation then about, well, what makes you happy and why be in a relationship at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that you talk about that in some of your courses you teach. Like, why are you in relationships?
Yeah, and if you're curious about relationship geekery, you can go to relationship10x, the number 10x.com, and there's some free videos there. But yeah, like, this is a really great question, because the meta piece, and also the idea that you're even talking about how cultures acculturate us differently, that's so geeky.
Yeah.
And as somebody who loves brain sex with geeks, that's hot. Like, oh my God, let's deconstruct culture and how different cultures are different, and then how do we merge those things to create win-wins in relationships. Hot.
Thanks so much for writing in.
Yep. Leave comments. I hope this business geekery was useful for you. If you'd like to continue with the brain sex, click on subscribe up here. If you want to follow me on social media, right here, ladies and gentlemen, next video below. And if you'd like your very own Sex Geek Summer Camp t-shirt, then just click right here, right now. Boop. Go ahead. I'll wait.